Hey everybody, Edo here, and this morning I am going to go on a little bit of a rant, but hopefully it is a rant and discussion and maybe some good thoughts on the future. I don't know. Basically, yesterday I posted on my wall, man, getting charged for shifting after the fact on the Kickstarter is totally lame. I had backed to Kickstarter, time had passed, there was a pledge manager, and in that pledge manager, it asked me for more money to ship the game to me. And that was my reaction as a backer. I was in that moment, and I was like, this sucks. And I decided to put that on my wall, as you might, when you're frustrated. And maybe I could have predicted it, but just a ton of feedback and comments and people agreeing and disagreeing, whatever, regarding the topic and the practice. And, I posted on Twitter and on my private wall, but this wasn't like to a Kickstarter community or the board game group or board BGG or anything like that. It was just sort of me just being frustrated, and it really solicited a lot of response. So I wanted to do this video this morning just to give a little more perspective and color to it, though I feel no different, right? Getting charged after the fact for shipping on a Kickstarter is lame. I'm not saying the people who do it are lame. I'm not saying there isn't a good reason to do it. I'm not saying, this isn't a criticism of individuals or companies. What I'm saying is, as a backer, as a person, it would be nice to be charged once. The fact that I'm charged on Kickstarter, I've provided my credit card and all my information, been charged, and then later get charged again, have to provide another service, another company, some random pledge manager my credit card as well, that's not good. Now, some people said, well, it's better to be charged accurate shipper, and I'm international, so if this means I'll get a better shipping price, I'm happy with it. Sure. But if we could assume for a moment, magic, we knew exactly how much all this was going to cost, and it was just one charge, it would be better. Right? I think that's fairly indisputable, but if you want to argue that point, please do in the comments. But I wanted to do a couple things. One, I wanted to describe for a moment why it bugged me so much, because I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and also some of the rationale and considerations you should be doing as a Kickstarter creator and whether or not you're going to do it. I would say most people agreed, and I've certainly seen it more. Also, this may have happened to me in the past, and not have been as big of a deal. I can't remember it. A lot of campaigns that end up having pledge managers, I end up, for whatever reason, look at the draw, I'm only backing for $1. So I can't think of that many where I've been charged shipping after the fact in a pledge manager. It may have happened in the past. This is the first time I brought it up. So, the things that bother me about it are, one, it's what I just said, that I've provided my information. Now I'm on this new service. I know Kickstarter, but I don't know CrowdOx or whatever these pledge managers are, and I don't really want to provide that service with my credit card. It's not the end of the world. I still did it, but I don't necessarily want to, and that bothered me. So because I had to go get my credit card. I was like, what? Why do I need my credit card right now? So I had to get that. So that was one. Two, it wasn't as if in this case I was being charged accurate shipping. The campaign was $40, and it said $10 for shipping. That's not how much shipping costs. There's flat rate, there's medium rate. There's no way that was calculated. I guess theoretically it's possible, but I'm pretty sure it was a blanket rate. So it wasn't as if the Kickstarter was using it to get the exact number pre-calculated and then did it. In fact, since this is the survey and it's confirming my address, again, it's not, I don't believe, calculating it that way. So it's still a blanket additional number. It's no different, frankly, than doing it in the campaign, other than, in some ways, you're not showing that number during that campaign. Along those lines, this wasn't some broad amount of time. It wasn't like the campaign closed a year ago and a year has passed. Campaign closed 2 months ago. So it's not even like that person couldn't have and didn't do that calculation. So it's just spreading it, and I don't think it's nefarious, but it's come on. And hey, I get frustrated too as a backer. I don't usually play the backer. But three, fundamentally, it feels like it undermines the purpose of Kickstarter. And just to be clear, Kickstarter's an evolving platform, different things are happening, it's a changing thing. But the idea is there is an amount of money you set out that you say, with this money, I can do this thing. I can make this game and fulfill all these tiers. When you charge again after the fact, that means, sort of by definition, you couldn't fulfill for the amount of money you raised. It was an inaccurate number. And that means there's risk in there. And you sign up for risk on Kickstarter. I didn't sign up for, but you're signing up for an understanding with the creator that if they hit that bar, they can do the job. And if they're charging more after the fact, it sort of suggests that number wasn't entirely accurate, right? Lastly, and again, I'm just for creators who are watching, I am just expressing the reaction I'm having. I'm not even saying don't do it. I'm just saying somebody might react like I am. Lastly, you feel like you are held captive. I've contributed to this campaign. I want the game. I wanted it to happen. But now I'm being charged more. Maybe I don't have the money now. Maybe I do. But now it's sort of like, can I back out? My reaction was like, forget it. Honestly, if I hadn't, one, played the game and loved it, and two, knew the dude who's running the campaign, I would have. I was out. But what do I do there? There's no button that's like, you know what, give me my money back. No, I have to go, I have to find the campaign, I have to ask for a refund on Kickstarter, and then it's weird because I supported it. And said shipping comes later. I'm not even saying I shouldn't have known better. Sure, that was the reaction. So, whatever. I paid the money, looking forward to the game. But in the discussion of it all, there's a couple things that want to emphasize. Lots of people have been stung bad by shipping. Shipping is hard, it's complicated, it's different for different destinations, and it's very expensive. It's one of the largest expenses on a Kickstarter. It depends on where it scales and how long, but for most creators, shipping's a big, hairy problem. My first campaign for Liftoff, I got the weight of my box wrong. I lost a lot of money. It went from a campaign that was sort of break even to a big loss of a campaign. And probably almost sunk pencil first games. And I just didn't calculate. I was over a threshold that increased shipping on all of these products, in particular international. I got destroyed on international shipping. Lost a lot of money there. On another campaign, I went over, wasn't as bad, but I went over a year mark, and the rates I was calculating were for 2015 or 2016, and then in 2017, they bumped up all the prices. And so it was like, I don't know, it was like $1 a package. So on 2,000 packages or whatever it was like an extra $1 each. I think it was like $1,500, $2,000. It's just gone, just vanished. Now, it paid for services, but so there is a risk. I just don't know that this is how this is the best way to deal with it, right? Again, if you're like, I always get stung on shipping, perhaps you're not providing a buffer. When I calculate my shipping costs now, I don't say, well, it's, medium flat rate right now is $13.75, so I'm going to add $13.75 to understand. I overgo. I say, okay, well, it's going to cost me $15 to ship each one of these. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll cost me a little less. But that's the buffer you need to give. Another person notes that if you tax shipping onto your Kickstarter, you are getting you're paying a tax on shipping. What they're saying is, since Kickstarter takes 5% and their checking service takes a certain amount of money, which generally is is most people start at 10%. It ends up being more like 8 or 9, but you usually calculate 10%. You're gonna say, if it's $10 in shipping, I'm only getting $9. So I have to take out their cut. So if I do it after the fact, I don't have to take out their cut. It's mostly true. You take out a smaller cut, but it's still about you calculating the amount of money you need to fulfill the objective. For the most part, your campaign is going to have more margin than retail. Depends on, people don't go to retail, but like, unless your game's completely underwater or you're giving a crazy cheap discount, you should have room in there. Oftentimes you need Kickstarter funds to pay for, art and all that. I mean, I get it, right? So, so for one, for sure, giving me a price and then me having to pay again, I don't like. I don't even know in this example, I don't even know what was gained, other than being able to give us a smaller number. And I was also a little steamed because like, it wasn't actual shipping. The game was really expensive. Like, dude, that's really expensive for the game. I don't know what's going on there, but like, so, I mean, maybe with all the wood, it's going to be heavier. But and then international backers also. There's that can go through, and all these other things. And so, unless like if honestly you're coming, and another example, James Matthew puts all of his shipping in and he explains it and he tells you how the math is going to work and all that and what the savings are. So you could be really explicit with how you're getting your shipping numbers and be forthcoming about it. So as a creator, so here's probably the discussion advice. That was all mostly rant. I think it's just your relationship with your backers is really important. If you're going to make a decision to backload, you need to understand that there's probably going to be some reaction to it. It is becoming used more often, and there's certain things that people are used to, and there's certain things that are effective. Early birds can be effective, but they have an impact. A lot of times when you do something tactical, if you're growing a business, really tactical decisions can have a lasting impact. Early birds can have a lasting impact. Getting into a situation where you have back-end shipping and somebody feels like they're stuck and they can't deal with it has a lasting impact. Somebody gave an example of somebody running out of money and then saying, hey, everybody, I'm out of money. I need an extra $10 to get you your thing. That's sort of just a failed campaign. I don't put that in the same category. I'm pretty confident I'm going to get the game, and it was detailed as such, but I just think you got to be careful. I don't even really like pledge managers personally. I've considered it each and every campaign. I get closer and closer to doing it because it's getting more and more complicated. I don't even love pushing people off of the Kickstarter platform to another platform, but there really are a lot of challenges in there, and it makes it. I understand the value, and I certainly may do it in the future. But I just think as a creator, you need to think about that and just make your decision. Again, if I guess it seems like if you're going to collect everyone's information, actually do the calculations and then charge them the exact shipping. Okay, I get it. I still think it's lame, but all right. But it better be that. Saying I'm just going to charge you shipping and then giving me a blanket number later is no different than the blanket number in the beginning. And I think that blanket number was lower. I don't think it was. My guess is it's $14 in shipping, not for $13.70, whatever that medium flat rate, not $10. But I don't feel like I'm having a relationship or saving money. I feel like it's just being tacked on, and so I don't know that the 4% Kickstarter fee versus the on difference between that and the what it would normally be is worth it. So it's tough though. I'm trying to think. Many international backers are stressed out and dislike heavy, expensive international shipping. That's tough. And there are a lot more services that are trying to get this right. But this was just a moment where I was just like frustrated, and people responded, and I thought I would do a video. So again, this is one I'd love to hear your comments. I really would. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there more angles I'm not considering? It is happening. Pledge managers are happening a ton. Shipping, taking money after the fact is less likely. It's certainly done in sort of an add-on way. But anyway, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.